Hello and welcome to ReplicaAirguns.com. I have a real special treat for you today. This is an AK-47 styled replica. Now this is sort of a tactical version. We have the tactical rails on the front, so it's a little unique. This particular gun is made in China. It's all metal and wood with just a couple little exceptions, and I'll talk about that later. It weighs over 9 pounds. It's 34 inches in length. It shoots 4.5mm steel BBs, and I'm going to tell you right now, this is not an airsoft gun. I always get questions about that, and I don't believe you can find this gun in an airsoft version. It shoots approximately 400 feet per second. It has an 18 round magazine, and it's semi-auto non-blowback, so there's no blowback mechanism in here, although the bolt does operate just like the real AK-47 style guns. It also field strips just like the real AK-47. And this particular model has the folding stock, but it's also available in a wood stock version too. So let's take a quick look at some of the components of this gun. Now, it doesn't come normally with the scope, the red dot scope, or the front foregrip. I've added that to this gun because this gun is just screaming for accessories, and it's got 4 rails. These are aluminum rails that have been attached to the front part of the of this AK-47, where normally you'd have the wood stock portion of it, foregrip stock. And the barrel's a little bit different on this gun as well. It comes with the front sights set up here, and these are aluminum sights that go right onto the rail. And I do have to say that these rails are what I found is they're a little bit smaller than the average rail. So when you're putting like a foregrip on, you really have to tighten it down. I've noticed that, and even these aluminum sights, and for instance, this particular aluminum strap ring, you really have to tighten them down to get them to be snug on the rail. And that said, I was really able to torque down on these, and I didn't have any problems with stripping, so the actual material is fairly well made. Let's just take a look at some other parts of the gun here. I'm going to move it around a bit, but you can see here we have the receiver section, and everything on this gun is literally metal. Everything you're looking at is metal. We have a wood handle here, of course, and that's made out of wood. Why not, right? I was thinking of changing it, but I changed my mind because I really like the look of it. It sort of brings it back to its roots. You have the magazine release here. I'm just going to pop this up a little bit. You can get a little better look. We have the magazine, and inside the magazine we have, now I've got no fingernails, so it's easier if I just use a tool. You just pop this out, and this is where your CO2 goes. One thing, now here's the plastic, okay? This is the only plastic I was able to find on this gun. This little tube that holds the BBs, that's plastic, and this actual screw is metal, but this little bit on the end is plastic. And getting a little bit more into that, I found it really difficult to tighten this up because there's literally no leverage with this. Plus it's metal on metal here, and it's a little rough, so I put a little bit of Pelgan oil in the top and on the bottom, so just some basic Pelgan oil, and that helped me to tighten it up, because when I first shot this gun nothing happened because I didn't have the CO2 tightened enough and it wasn't punctured. What I might do down the road is I might replace this little plastic piece and put something a little beefier on there, because it's all hidden inside of here anyways. You can see once this goes in, there's lots of room for you to have a little bit bigger piece there. So anyways, other than that, that's the only real thing I found that I have a problem with this gun. I'm going to get in more into other stuff, but that's really it. Is this one piece here? Not a big deal. Put it back in. You just push that in. Right? We'll leave that out for now. Again, all metal, really well made. Everything about this gun exceeds my expectations. You have your safety here, and it's really tough. But you can see here, it's typically like just on a real AK-47s, you're going to get the little wear mark there. Again, this is your magazine release. You've got your trigger here, all metal, everything's metal. Take a look at the stock a little bit. Folding stock, you just push this in, and you can rotate it forward and back by pushing this in. We'll keep it out for now. Now on the back side, not as much going on this side, but you can see here, all metal. Everything internally is metal. And on this side, here's the other strap ring here. So you have a front strap ring and rear strap ring. Very nice. I'm going to get into the field stripping a little bit later, so I'm not going to get too much into that right now. We'll do that at the end, but I do want to show a little target that I shot. Okay, you can see here I've taken 10 shots on this target, and for the most part I was able to get about a 1-inch grouping here, and this was from 20 feet away. There was one stray over here, and now this is a brand new gun, never been shot before, so there could be bits of oil and little pieces of metal in the barrel. So you know, there might be strays. Typically I find that, especially with new guns, gotta break them in a little bit before you get some a little bit more consistency. But this was basically just at a bench rest. I had the gun on a bit of a pillow, and I was using my red dot scope at the time, and it shot really quite nicely. The gun is actually fairly quiet, it's not very loud. As far as velocity, it's hard to tell when you're just shooting it, but it seemed like it was going pretty good, you know, around the 400 feet per second range. There's the target portion. So just before I get into the field stripping of this gun, I want to just go over the red dot again. I kind of missed a point. And the point is this, is I was able to leave my sights on here and have the red dot. I was going to take the sights off, the metal sights, but I decided to keep them on because they really don't interfere with my red dot and they look neat. And actually what I can do is the red dot lines up almost perfectly with the actual open sights. So if I just move my head up a little bit, I can see the red dot really clearly, but if I turn the red dot off, I can then actually use the metal sights, and so I have the option now of using metal sights or red dot, which is pretty cool. Okay, so let's field strip this gun and take a look at the internal parts. I'm going to come around to this side. So you take off the top receiver plate, then you can take out the spring assembly. Move this down just a bit. And then you actually have, this is the blowback and the bolt system. So what typically happens with an AK-47 is some of the blowback actually goes up and through here and comes back down the pipe and sends the bolt back and forth, which then loads the actual bullets into the chamber. So now this gun's apart. You can see the barrel area, and there's a nice little O-ring in here, and it's a nice beefy one, so I can see that this is going to be fairly efficient on CO2. So let's put her back together in reverse order. What you have to do is you have to drop this in just here, and it gets into a little track. Put that in first. Put your spring back in. Go a little forward and then back. And what I found the best way to do this is to put this in the groove first. Make sure that it lines up, and then it's in. Okay, and that's it. So do it from the back. There's a little groove right here. Put the back end in first, and then you just bring it down. And watch you don't pinch yourself when you close that up. I didn't really get too much into the finish, but you know, it's all blued. The metal's all blued. It's not painted. It's all just like the real gun would be. I've never owned an AK-47, but from what I've seen pictures of and other reviews, it's really very similar. And like other Chinese versions of guns, and even other Russian versions of guns, you'll find that they're not blemish free by any means. There's little scratches and nicks and tool marks and whatnot on them, but it kind of adds to the whole genuineness of the gun. Anyways, thanks again for joining me here, replicaAirguns.com, and check out our website and our online store now. So take care, and we'll see you next time.